Hey guys, it's Ray from soychichao.com and welcome back to our brand new series called How-To-What-Is, where we learn cool new things, tell you what it is, and also teach you how to do it. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different because all of you are currently aware of the current situation and we are now undergoing the movement control order, so that means we have to stay at home, and if it's not necessary, we should not go out. Well, I'm not gonna lie, because for the first few weeks has also been really hard on me, especially when it comes to my end here. So I do a lot of editing, so that means transferring large files, downloading footages, and also actually adapting to this whole new situation has been really challenging for me. But after spending some time at home, I've actually found out some tips and tricks that I want to share with you guys on how to stay productive while you're working from home. So without wasting more time, let's get into it. Okay, so it's been super long since I see my colleagues. I really miss them. So now let's find Nick. We go and kacau him, okay? So let's call him from Discord and let's see what he's up to. He's always on Discord. Okay, it's connecting. Is he here? Okay, let me turn on the video first. Okay, so we're in. Oh, hi Nick.
Hi, what's up?
Okay, yeah, what's up? Hello, how are you? Long time no see, weh.
Okay lah, working remotely, working at home, kind of feeling a bit bored. So it's gonna be more than a month in total, and I think now it's been almost a month already. Definitely 3 weeks, more than 3 weeks. So it's okay. Yeah, I mean, how's it been like for you trying to work from home? Because you do a lot more production work than I do. So, you know, how's that affected you so far?
It's super hard, man. There's no lighting, then your camera gear's also not enough, then no one to help you monitor what you're doing, so it's a bit troublesome lah. Like now what we're doing, you know?
So I think for me there are actually quite a few like pain points that a lot of people have, people who are not so prepared for it. So you know, it can be anything from, you know, anything simple to even setting up a video call like this, to even like, you know, transferring large files to each other. So yeah, I think that a lot of people will want to know how to get the best out of the, you know, movement control order as far as productivity is concerned.
Yeah, I agree with you. So that's why we are here, right? To talk about it?
Yep.
First things first, what have you encountered during like working remotely? Yeah, your struggles.
Yeah. So obviously the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to obstacles for remote working is setting up video calls. We definitely both know about these kind of struggles because setting up this particular video call wasn't the easiest thing in the world lah, right?
If either one of us is bad, then we can't do any video calls. So at last we decided to use Discord. Apparently it's quite stable. I'm really enjoying this.
Okay, let's run through each option individually real quick. So we have Discord, we have Slack, we have Google Hangouts, we have Zoom, as well as WhatsApp video call. So let's first talk about Discord. What's your experience been like with Discord so far, in general, not just during the MCO?
The connection is super stable, like what we're doing now. We are actually doing from Discord, so I really enjoy it.
I've used Discord for a long time since I think I started using. I actually found out about it from this French guy in university, and then he was telling me like, so it's like, oh yo man, let's try out Discord, you know. And then I was just like, oh. But the reality is that Discord is actually a very stripped back, I wouldn't call it a video conferencing app, although it has support for, you know, up to 8 people on video conferencing. But I'm talking about like the audio latency, because the video is nice if you want to screen share some slides, some stuff like that, but in reality what you really need is like low latency lah, no lag, you know, no delay. I think that's very important for a conversation like this lah. This is actually very like macam office.
Obviously, if Discord have like high latency, then when you play games, you know, there's some lags, then you don't know what's going on over there, you know.
Okay, maybe we'll rank them later, but let's move on to the second one. So what do you think about Slack?
We are using Slack for work, right? Work purposes. The reason why I like Slack is because it's very organized, so you can create like multiple channels for each like
Mosquito, stay away. Okay, we use a lot of Slack in the office, but I think you can make calls on it as well. How does it stack up as a video conferencing tool?
I don't really recommend Slack as a video conferencing tool because if you use the free one, like what we're using right now, it can only support up to 2 people. But if you pay more, you can actually support more people. So that's the bad thing about Slack lah. Yeah, video call. Okay. So you can actually pay for the premium version. I'm not sure what is it called, but you can pay to allow more people to join your video chat.
I think that kind of rules it out as a really viable video conferencing platform. There's so many free options out there. They're available for free, and you can get definitely more than 2 people. Even I think WhatsApp Yeah, WhatsApp video call supports up to 4 people.
Yeah, so that's why I won't recommend Slack because it's so limited.
So I've also attended some meetings, and they just sent me a Google Hangout invite. What about Google Hangout?
Yeah, Google Hangout. I quite enjoy Google Hangouts because I remember one time where Ami wanted to call us. At first, we tried Discord, but apparently Discord can support up to
8 people.
8 people. Yeah. Then our office is like around 10.
I think more than 10 actually now.
10, 12. Because we have a lot of new team members, so I can't keep track anymore. But yeah, so Google Hangouts can support up to 22, if I'm not right, 25 people.
25 people. And I was a part of that call as well. And the neat part was that you didn't need an app. You just, just load it up on Chrome, just load it up on any browser. It's also quite simple as well, so I think it's pretty cool. But okay, let's talk a little bit about video conferencing platform that everybody and their mother has been talking about recently.
Well, what app is that?
Zoom.
You cover a lot of that news, right? About Zoom?
Yeah, I've been covering a lot of the news around Zoom. Not just me, but the whole editorial team. But so basically, the underlying issue for me with Zoom is that they have a bit of lack of transparency. Yeah, so people were complaining a lot about something called Zoom bombing. Basically, Zoom bombing is when people go into other people's Zoom rooms or meeting rooms, like video conference calls, and just jump in and start broadcasting inappropriate stuff. Yeah.
Oh my god, hey, that's very scary.
Yeah, so a problem with that is actually it's not hacking per se. So if you password protect your video room or your meeting room, I think it's okay. People can't do this Zoom bombing thing. But when you're using a business centric kind of video conferencing app, security is going to be so important and you should be limited to who the people in your room should be limited to people you've invited or people within your corporation.
I think that's about it for video conference, right?
Yeah, so I think how would you rank the video conferencing apps? Like number 1, number 2, number 3?
Number 1, I'll rate Discord for video conferencing. Number 2, Google Hangouts. And then number 3 is Slack. Then the last one will be Zoom.
I think I'm with you on all of that except number 3 for me is WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is quite simple in the sense that there's no need to send invites and all that nonsense. You just pull out your phone. Who doesn't have WhatsApp in their phone? And just video call. Okay, so basically for us the ranking is Zoom last.
Agreed.
Discord number 1, Google Hangouts number 2, and number 3 goes to WhatsApp call, right? WhatsApp video call. There's also
Slack.
There's also Microsoft Teams as well. I know a lot of people have been talking about that. I personally have not used it that much, so I won't really say too much. But it is a reputable brand. From what I can tell, it's relatively stripped down. In a sense that it's not full of stuff everywhere. It's meant to give you a clean, productive experience. So that's definitely something that's worth considering as well lah. But for us, still Discord number 1. So let's talk about something else which I think will apply to you a lot more than it would apply to me actually. Transferring large files. So you work in a lot of production. How's it like doing all of that during the MCO?
To be honest, it's a bit tough, especially when it comes to uploading footage, because for our team, right, sometimes we exchange footage. Like for example, if Rory had the product, he will need to send it to me, then I need to download the footage, and my computer doesn't have a lot of space, so the only option I have is to create a new Google Drive account.
Cloud storage, right? Basically, you're recommending.
Yeah. Google Drive is for free for 15 gigs, but if you need more storage for that, you can always pay 9 ringgit and 60 US dollar, which is around 41 ringgit and 60 cents per month for unlimited storage.
I think that's fair actually. I would say actually Google Drive is one of the more reliable cloud services as far as number 1, it's free, and number 2, it has a reliable app.
And it works really well with other Google apps.
Okay.
Like for example, Google Documents, Google Photos, everything, you can just work with them super easy lah. Okay, so
cloud storage is definitely not something that is only done by Google lah, right? But have you tried, I think there's a version from Microsoft called OneDrive, right? Yeah, quite a few of our colleagues use it actually. How do you find it?
I didn't really use it, but what I know is that it offers 5 gig of free storage when you sign up for a new account. If you're someone who use Microsoft Office apps,
which is everybody, right?
Yeah. So that works really well with OneDrive.
That's true, that's true. But I feel like, you know, Google Drive is like 15 gigs, so this doesn't really impress me that much. I remember one of the really like first early generation file transfer platforms I used was Dropbox. Yeah, so it's decent, you know, it's quite simple. It's a practical option, but it's quite limited in terms of how much you can upload, I think. How much is the limit? I think you told me about
For
it
a free
recently.
account?
Yeah,
2
for
gigs.
free.
2
How many?
gigs only.
Oh,
2 gigs.
yeah, 2 gigs is nothing, man. But I think Dropbox is still definitely an option. If you know, you can still try it out. It really depends. Sometimes certain providers are like more overloaded now during the MCO, so maybe different options can work. Just like our video call, how FaceTime didn't work, we swapped to Discord because FaceTime wasn't working.
I mean, you can always create one account. It's for free, you know.
Yeah, correct. So it's good to have an alternative, lah.
Okay, how about iCloud?
Oh, so you know, iCloud is something that
For
is,
Apple only.
you know, is exclusive to Apple people. iCloud, I do use it a little bit. You know, I don't really use the iPhone as like my main phone because iPhone. But
No, I'm using an iPhone. Yeah, but it offers you 5 gig of like storage lah.
yeah, it's 5 gigs of storage, and if I'm not mistaken, the price for unlimited storage is reasonably affordable as well. I think you sent it to me. So 2 terabytes for $39.90 isn't too bad, I guess. One of the strengths of iCloud is that it's as Apple usually does. For their software and stuff, it feels very seamless when you're using it between different devices in the Apple ecosystem. Something that's actually very useful for me with iCloud is the ability to share like an album. So I don't know if you remember, but Alex usually does this quite often. So it's like, let's say he's at an event and I'm helping him to cover an event, and I need to help him with some photos. He just takes them with his iPhone, let's say lah, right? And then he can just send me a link, and I just click on the link, and all the selected photos that he wants me to see are available just there in my browser. Other than the fact that, like, you know, you need like an expensive iPhone to use it. So I think iCloud has a lot going for it, to be honest. So would you say that of all of this,
Google Drive number 1.
Yeah,
Google Drive number 1.
Same here. I think Google Drive number 1 in general, but if you have an iPhone, if you're in the Apple ecosystem, I think iCloud is really a good option. Okay lah, but even if you're using like the best app and stuff, I think a lot of it is dependent on your internet connection. You know, of course your internet connection matters. So other than improving your internet connection, what do you think is a helpful thing to tell people to do?
So if you want to like transfer large files to your Google Drive or anything, you can actually connect your PC directly to a router, so you can get the more stable connection.
Have a look at what router you're using as well. If this MCO continues to go on longer and remote working conditions become more common, you know, more commonplace in general, I think people need to look into upgrading their networks at home, whether it's just the speed from the ISP or just changing the hardware in the house. So that can be like routers lah.
Okay, so now let's move on to tasks and project management. So usually in Soy Chinchao, right, every week we have a meeting. So what we need to do is always written on a whiteboard, so we can keep track of the things we do, what we're gonna do on each day, and what kind of projects are we gonna have. So but now there's no whiteboard for us. There's no like a place for us to keep track on our projects. So what we do is that we are using Google Spreadsheet.
Actually, I used to always use Google Docs because I didn't have Microsoft Word for some reason at that time. So all of these Google apps, the native apps, are like really good lah. And I think for me, what has helped a lot is when we are working together on a project, it's easy to have our work on a collaborative spreadsheet. Okay lah. So something else that I actually use when it comes to Google Docs is you can tweak the sharing settings quite specifically. So even during the MCO, we are obviously, you know, Soy Chinchao is obviously still working with, you know, various parties and whatnot, but you know, various companies and stuff. So sometimes when we want to work together on something right now, it's not possible to meet up. So when you do it on Google Docs, you can set the ownership, you can set who sees the document, you can even set what they do. Can they edit it? Can they view it? Can they leave comments? That's definitely come in handy so much during this MCO for me. If not, very hard to 做生意。
做生意。做生意 means do business, okay?
Yeah, do business ah.
No, I'm just telling everyone because not everyone knows Chinese.
識廣東話嗎? Yeah, what about something like Trello?
Trello, I've seen Marcus use it before, but I'm not really a fan of it because it's only for individuals, if I'm not wrong.
You can actually do shared boards on Trello.
Oh,
I used to use Trello quite a bit. So Trello, it's like what you see when you see Marcus use it. It's a series of boards, and you can set up like rows of stuff you need to do, categorize them, color code them. It's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. It gives you a nice visual representation compared to something like Google Sheets, which is basically Excel. Okay, so I think we have one more thing that I really want to talk about, which is communication. It's very easy to say communicate you got phone call, whatever, but communication is, actually really more than just verbal communication, I would say. So how have you been keeping up with the team? Obviously, I'm asking you this knowing the answer myself, but how have you been keeping up with the team and stuff?
WhatsApp, we have a group there. Everyone uses WhatsApp.
I think there's like WhatsApp is on one side, but then on the other side we have like Slack.
Because WhatsApp is like the more casual one, like Slack is like more organized, like everything is work related, I guess, because people usually use Slack for work purposes.
It's segmented into channels. That really helps. Like, let's say I want to find something for a certain project, a certain campaign that I'm working on. I need to look for that campaign name in the Slack, and I have a history of what we've said, the details we've shared, the important details. It's easy to track. You try to check on WhatsApp what I told you 3 weeks ago. It's impossible. I would say Slack sits somewhere between like WhatsApp and like email in terms of like how formal or how formal it is, or how business centric it is. So yeah, I think for us, we've been using WhatsApp and Slack a lot. Besides the separate channels, do you think there's like other benefits to Slack besides WhatsApp?
Yeah, actually it works really well with Google Apps, especially Google Calendar. Because usually when we edit our Google Calendar, right, Slack will notify us that someone has added an event, so we can check it from there. I think that works really well.
Okay, so I know that there's one thing, there is a con on Slack, which is has a limit of messages. So I think for free accounts it's something like 10k, right? 10,000 messages.
10K.
So this means that, as I said, Slack is almost like email. So sometimes there are like important details that are there. You want to search for them. If it's too long ago, or if your team has been like talking too much on Slack and then it has overshot the 10k, it starts to like, I don't know if it's deleted or if it's archived.
It's deleted.
You can't access it. Oh, it's deleted, is it? Okay. I don't know, man. I can't really think of many other faults with it other than maybe video conferencing is a little bit limited, but that's fine, man. I can use another app for that.
Okay, I think we've covered most of it, right? The things that we need to know when we're working remotely.
Yeah, I think so. The challenge to working at home during the MCO is more than just like what we've talked about that a lot of it has to do with your mindset, with your company culture, with your accountability, and with just generally how you work in a team, or how your team works, functions together. So I think that maybe a lot of people who work in more digital industries like ours, we're already ready for this, more or less. We probably miss working together physically, but at the same time, I think we've been pretty productive even during the MCO.
I think I've been more busy than ever. I don't know why.
Really? Why?
Because there's a lot of things you can't control. Like for example, if we shoot in the office, someone will monitor our script, our audio and stuff like that. But working at home, you need to control everything, so you take more time to monitor yourself.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's why you are so busy.
That's for sure. Same thing. I mean, even right now, for me, I have the my laptop for Discord. I have an iPad for like some notes. I have a microphone over here. I have the microphone has to be linked to an interface behind here. Then there's a camera over there that's perched on my balcony, like cloth hangers, something like that.
But I think one of the worst things about MCO is that some people working at retail, it's a bit hard for them to work from home. That's like super bad lah, because some may not have income, or maybe they lose their job because of this. So I think we are super lucky lah.
Yeah, we're very blessed because a lot of people have I feel like we're definitely heading into a global recession, and now more than ever I think it's important to understand the value of like digitizing your businesses. I'm not saying this to like push any sort of vendetta. So imagine if like you have like 100% brick and mortar business, and you don't give a hoot about like digitizing your business and like creating separate income streams, and about like getting into e-commerce. If let's say you're in retail, if you didn't do all of that, it's very, very difficult to suddenly adjust to you know, the digital world all of a sudden. But you know, maybe this is a good time for us to get familiar with remote working tools, because I think remote working is probably something that's going to be even bigger in the future. Okay, so I think that's pretty much all we want to talk about today, right, Ray?
Yep.
Okay.
That's the end of it.
Cool. So you know, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been a really different kind of experience for Ray and myself. How did you find this, Ray?
Setting up is so torturing, man.
Yeah, setting up.
But we made it work. We made it work.
I hope so, because we're still shooting it now. I hope it comes out well. But
I'm the one editing it.
I'm sure it'll be great.
Okay,
so
hopefully lah.
I think I had a lot of fun doing this kind of content. I would like to do it again. Depends if MCO is extended, then definitely have to keep doing this kind of content lah.
Yep. We're definitely gonna do more weird things. Okay, so let's wrap this video up. Okay, thank you. As usual, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like our video if you liked it, and subscribe to Soya Chin Chow if you haven't already, and also click on the notification bell icon down there so you'll be notified whenever we post a brand new video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.